Today I realized something. Your reputation doesn't belong to you anymore. Well, at least not in 2026. Yo, you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, and you are tuning in to Outlawed Opinions. Well, like I was saying, your reputation doesn't belong to you anymore. Well, at least not in 2026, because today alone, you got Donald Trump saying things directly to millions. You got Jake Paul and Druski going viral over comments that spark controversy, and now stories resurfacing about Bob Barker that are making people question his legacy. What do these all have to do with each other? I know, and I'm going to explain it to you. Three completely different worlds, but all pointing to the same thing. We are living in a time where your image is no longer yours, it belongs to the internet, and the internet will decide who you are. Let's talk about it. I mean, that's what we're here to do, right? So let's start with Donald Trump. Anytime Trump posts on Truth Social, it's intentional. This isn't random. This is strategy. He's bypassing media. He's bypassing fact checkers and speaking directly to his base. And whether you agree with him or not, you have to understand what he's doing. He's controlling the narrative in real time. See, back in the day, your image was shaped by, news outlets, journalists, history books. Now, you can rewrite your narrative instantly. And sometimes I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I enjoy being able to tell the truth. I know people call it my truth, but that's just me. I like to be able to control the truth because I've had a lot of lies spread about me online trying to clout chase, and it didn't really go nowhere, but that's the truth. But, Trump doesn't wait for his story to be told about him. He tells it himself, and millions of people run with it. That's power. Your platform is power, but it also raises a bigger question. If everyone controls their own narrative, then what is the truth? And that speaks to the whole point of I don't like saying my truth because a person's truth could be far from the truth sometimes. That's just the way that they see it. My truth is just another way of saying perspective. Now, let's talk about in Jake Paul and Druski. This situation is a perfect example of where we are currently right now, as far as in culturally, as as a civilization, I guess. Some things get said, it spreads instantly, and before context even catches up, the internet has already decided on what it means, and that's where we are now. Intent doesn't even matter. Context doesn't matter. Perception is everything, right? Jake Paul says something involving Druski. It's clipped, it's reposted, it's debunked, it's judged. Everybody has an opinion within minutes, not hours, not days, minutes. And here's the truth: controversy is currency now. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't always want to cover controversy and controversial stuff, but I mean it is part of our life and what we see and what we experience. And the louder it is, the more it spreads. The more it spreads, the more people profit from it. So now you have a system where saying the wildest thing possible gets rewarded. And that creates a culture where clout is trumping, no pun intended, credibility. And then, I don't want to say last but not least, you have somebody like Bob Barker. Now, here's where we go deeper. Bob Barker, this was a dude for decades that was a positive figure in American television. Now stories are resurfacing and allegations, controversies, discussions, and people are starting to reevaluate his legacy. Now, let's be clear. We're talking about what's being discussed, what's being brought into the spotlight. But look at what's happening. His legacy that took decades to build is now questioned in real time, and for very good reason. And this is a part of people, I don't want to say a part of people, but I think this is what people don't want to admit. And the truth is, nobody is safe from reevaluation. Not celebrities, not politicians, not cultural icons. It's because the internet doesn't care about time. It doesn't care about if it happened 30, 40, or 50 years ago. if it resurfaces today, it's judged by standards. And this is the connection between all three stories: Trump, Jake Paul, Druski, Bob Barker, different lanes. I'm sorry, different lanes. I mean, sometimes the truth. Anyways, it's different lanes. It's same reality. We are living in a era where your reputation does not belong to you anymore. The internet does. What you mean, who you are, and how you'll be remembered. And once the narrative starts moving, you don't control it anymore. So the real question is, are we actually learning the truth about people, or are we just watching narratives getting rewritten in real time? That's the conversation we got. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drop a little something so we can dissect this together. And I really would love for you guys to talk about this in the comment section. All right. So let's just keep it 100. What I want to do right now is I want to move myself out the way a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And see if I can help. No, I won't do that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to just bring this in, and hopefully it doesn't. Yeah. See that right there? Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all up in one. Oh, I'm sorry, all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the bleeping straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise to be Allah, President Donald Trump. The amount of strays that were thrown, like just the disrespect. I mean, did I mention that the commander-in-chief posted this on Easter? This was his first post on Easter Sunday. Yeah. And what makes it even worse is he said all of that, and I don't know if it would have made it any better, still never said Happy Easter, Americans. So, I mean, this is his reputation. I would love to know, for the people that support him, MAGA, whoever. And by the way, I am not a Democrat, so don't try to make this a left versus right thing. But I have to ask you guys, like, for you guys that still stand behind him, no matter how jacked up the economy is, no matter what's going on, do you support that? And why would you support something like that on Easter? Just let me know. Just share it in the comment section. But this is what I mean by him speaking directly to his base, right? His following. This is, for everybody that follows him and that believes in him still to this day, this is almost scripture to them. No lie. But I ask, why do you support it? Why is it okay? This is shaping his reputation for what we know today, but that's one of the examples I wanted to give, for sure. And so, I'm not going to waste your time. I should just keep going, right? So let's go to Bobby. Let's go to Bobby Barker. All right. Play this full screen for y'all. Let me disappear for a minute. Where am I at?
Have you? Really? How long have you waited for that kiss?
Oh, I don't know, years
Really?
since I was little, watching Price is Right.
Yeah?
Yes.
I've been waiting for it myself, I have a feeling. All right, now listen, Denise. I beg your pardon?
You look great.
I couldn't hear you.
You're very handsome.
So as you see, man, he's very nice and, kissing and all this other good stuff. So let's fast forward and see what it's like for this sister right here that gets on the stage.
Right now, $1,000. Move it up
there. And they try to hug Bob Barker, and he would kind of shrink away from them.
maybe he just didn't want to be touched. I mean, the person's entitled to who touches them and this, that, and the other, but it's just hard to believe. I mean, there's a whole documentary on it. I mean, there's the very, very, very well known Claudia Jordan. But you know, it's not like what she's saying is a lie. But let's just move it up a little bit. Let's move it up. Let's see.
Don't attack me. Don't touch me.
Don't attack me. Don't touch me. Running from these black women. And you know, another thing I noticed is how crazy they make these black women act when they get on the stage. You know how they all wild and running around and got all this energy like they don't know how to act. But then when it showed the white woman earlier in the clip, it showed her being all calm and reserved, and they had like this romantic type of back and forth or banter or whatever, right? So, you know, that's an example of how, hey, 30, 40 years of building up this reputation and doing this and doing that, and then people, they start to home in on who you are. And maybe that is a good reason why we need to start rewriting what's going on in history, because history is told by the winner or the story writer. There's a proverb that says, you know, in every story, the man is the most powerful until you get the story of the lion, or until the lion can write its own story. Now, I kind of butchered it, but that I'm just paraphrasing or just kind of giving you a summary of that quote. And that's true. You know, some history is being rewritten because they needed to add the truth into it. And that's an example. All right. So before we get out of here, I saved the best for last. Is this it right here? I think this is it. So let's go ahead and drop this in here. Boom.
I want to ask you something, because I've been, over the last couple of days, calling makeup artists, and I was going to do a response to this and like go and do like the full on
darker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And do it, and just do it back, because why not?
Yeah.
Like, are we on the same playing field? Like,
I think if there's a way to do it, this thing in well, even this sentence. But if there's a way to do it, I've been here many times. If there's a way to do it, I think there needs to be some black support for the character, I think. Like I'm saying, like say if Druski or I'm trying to think of somebody else.
Charles Barkley.
If you got one of those guys to be like, hey, Theo, I want you to do this skit with me. Let's do this.
But still, that's pussying out.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Jake Paul's right. If you're going to do it, go all the way. But my thing is, what's Jake Paul's intentions? Now, because of Jake Paul's background, I believe his intentions are just clout chasing. That's what the Logan Paul brothers, Jake and Logan Paul, that's what they do. They revine people. They did funny things here and there, and they did popular things here and there. But the truth is this is a mixture of clout chasing / rage baiting, right? Because they made it a racial thing. They made Druski's thing that he did a racial thing. But and I'm not going to get into all of that. You can just go watch the video I did about the whole situation with Druski, and you'll get all that there. But what Jake Paul is trying to do and say, well, I wonder if I can do it, is if nobody's ever done it before. Already covered the whole history of blackface. But what I will say about Jake Paul is this is what happens when clout chasing goes too far. What people try to do is they try to sit along that fence, straddle the fence, if you will, with race and reach, right? The double R's. And the problem with that is you create a narrative about yourself, and like I said earlier, you don't control your reputation. The internet does. You know, even if you're a decent person, if the internet says you're a bad person, what can you do? It's a tough time to live when it comes to that type of stuff. But what I will say about Jake Paul is that he's playing more around with race than he probably understands. Because here's the thing, Jake Paul, and I'm talking to you, if you see this, we don't need you. Robert Downey Jr. did it. You understand what I'm saying? What people need to understand about this whole blackface thing is it runs deeper. And I'm about to say something that you probably ain't heard before. People do blackface without the paint all the time. And if you black, you know what I'm talking about. People have been doing blackface without the paint a long time. It's called appropriation. All right. The way that some of y'all try to wear your hair, the way that y'all talk, the part of the culture that you guys try to connect to or try to convince us that you're connected to, we understand and we read through all of that. It's just the blackface thing makes it blatant. So to non-black people, we want you to understand that a lot of you guys are doing blackface right now without the paint. We not stupid. Go into black spaces and you'll understand we see it. See, you guys think it's a situation when the paint comes on, and this is how I know you guys get exposed, because y'all don't know that we see blackface without the paint all the time. Now, another thing that I'll say as far as in what Jake Paul is talking about, we don't need you. Robert Downey Jr. did it, and he got a pass on it. If you just go from the early 1900s all the way to the 1950s, you'll find plenty of people that did it because black people were not put in films, so they did what they did. And then another thing that you have to understand is black people have done blackface. What is you talking about? But let me help you more. Dave Chappelle did it. He did the whole blackface situation where he was it's not even no such thing as whiteface, but he acted like a white guy and people loved it, including a lot of white people. Martin Lawrence did it. He had a character on Martin where it was the same situation. You know, he was like some 80s rocker dude or whatever the case is. So we've already had that. But as far as in blackface in the black community, Big Mama's House, Nutty Professor, Coming to America, where Eddie Murphy was also playing a Jewish white man. All right. So we don't need you. Nobody's sitting around saying, man, I think Jake Paul will be just as funny as Druski if he did the same thing. You're inserting yourself into a situation and you doing it because it's like, well, you know what? I'm a white dude and I could be the poster child or the catalyst for the response to this. But the thing is that I think is funny, which I already said in the last video, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, is people have a tendency to think that, oh, well, isn't this whiteface? And because y'all don't know the history of blackface, again, you're going off the surface level of the situation. The other thing I think is funny is most of the people that found the video offensive were probably more offensive than Druski because of the fact that you guys started connecting who he was trying to imitate without him ever saying it. Y'all connected her to Erica Kirk. Y'all connected to some of these bigger white women that are on TV and that, you know, be at these MAGA rallies. Y'all knew exactly what he was talking about, which means you agree. If you can connect the dots without him saying anything, you agree. So that's what I'll say about that. But Jake Paul, this is definitely a clout chasing situation. And I do agree with him saying that if you're going to go connect with try to get approval from a black person, that's the P move. I agree with that too. No, do your thing. Say the words you want to say. In the famous words of Adele Ray, say the words you want to say. Be exactly who you are. Live in your truth. But let me finish this before we get out of here.
Yeah. To me, there's a level of like,
Doesn't that make us more like prejudice?
like more prejudice?
That makes us, if we have to partner with someone. Druski just dropped this.
And he's done it a couple of times,
Exactly.
actually.
And that's the point too. That's another thing I was going to add. Druski has always done this, but I'm gonna go a step even further. The Wayans brothers, white chicks. Why are y'all talking now? When white chicks came out, there was a form of social media. They didn't get canceled. Matter of fact, the Wayans brothers, it's almost impossible to cancel them because they've always pushed the envelope. See, the thing is, there's people that are so good at comedy and that understand cultural norms and prejudices and stereotypes that they can push the envelope and they won't get canceled. Dave Chappelle is one of those people. Joe Coy has kind of pushed the line before on certain things, not in a negative way, but just pushed the conversation, you know, whether it's political or it's racial. Most black comedians have pushed the envelope. You understand what I'm saying? And here's something that probably might sound prejudiced or whatever. In the black community, we don't think you're funny if you can't make black people laugh. To our own comedians, that's a badge of honor for our own comedians to get us to laugh because we're just like that. We just like that. No, we're going to see if you really that good. Let's see what he does. And then it's kind of all right, if I can make it here in the culture, then I know I can make it out there because we're very critical of each other, despite what your statistics and per capita things that you guys want to misuse and misrepresent on the culture. That's the truth about us. We are very critical of each other and we are quick to shame each other. Okay? So, with that being said, we just don't need Jake Paul, man. We don't need you to do that. You're not changing anything. Yeah, whatever you're saying, does it make you more prejudiced if you have to go get a black person? Listen, y'all can try to break down the science on this. But at the end of the day, the real thing that you got to live with, if you really are somewhat of a person and you actually have humane thoughts, why am I doing this? Is the only thing that matters. If you're doing this because you really want to make something funny out of it, or you really want to be funny, go for it. But if you're doing this to be reactive and you know what the reward is because you have been nothing but a controversial image over the last decade, this conversation is irrelevant that you're having with Brad right now, because your intentions is not to ask permission. It's to have a goal that you have in your head to either clout chase or rage bait. That's all it is, because there's been too many examples of things that went viral where black folks have emulated some form of white culture and have made comedy, memes, whatever, of something of white culture. You're just doing it because it's Druski. Why not respond to somebody that got 1 million or 12 million views and has a decent following? No, you're just doing that because of publicity and a little bit of the rage baiting. And that's the perfect combination to get people talking and resharing, which, by the way, here's a gem for you guys. That's the most important thing you would want as far as exposure, is sharing. But anyways, that's my take on it. See, like I said, the internet decides whether you're a genuine person, decent person, or not. Just like right now, when this video is done or while you're watching, you decide on your opinions, feelings, and thoughts on my commentary. So I ask you guys, share your comments in the comment section about these three individuals and the history behind these individuals and the controversy and the things that it stirs up. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. You've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast, Outlawed Opinions. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. If this is your first time coming to the channel, make sure you press that subscribe button and turn the notifications on at the bell so you don't miss any more of our content. Until the next episode, peace.